So, very good morning, all of you. Um, this presentation is very helpful to the new faculty and the freshers. Okay, and now everybody and everywhere we talking about this outcome-based educations. So, at the end of this presentation, you will be able to know the importance of Washington Accord and distinguish between the PEOs and CEOs, and how can you apply the Bloom taxonomy levels, and what the various tools used to attain this PEOs and POs and CEOs. And this Washington Accord is an international accreditation agreement among these various countries and to accept engineering degrees of their graduates. So it's a mutual understanding agreement among these various countries, and it was established in 1989. And not only Washington Accord, we have a Sydney Accord and Dublin Accord also there. So under this Washington Accord, the various countries, you can see this, there are 15 countries, you can see this list, and every country has a certain accreditation agency to assess their quality of education. For example, Australia, we have they have Engineers Australia, and see this USA, they have ABET also, ABET Accreditation Board for Engineering Technology. Okay. But our country is not there, India is not there in this list. Because at that time, since 2007, our India is a provisional member under the Washington Accord. But unfortunately, there was a good news for Indian engineers. Okay, in June 13th, 2014, our HRD Minister Smriti Irani garu is announced that our India also become a permanent member in Washington Accord. Okay, so in 2014 there are two countries become permanent members. One is our India, and second country is Sri Lanka. So the main aim of this Washington Accord is there is a global mobility of engineering students. So once the program is accredited, the degree is valid in anywhere among these countries. So what you listed. So there are total 17 countries under this Washington Accord. So that's why now every institute and every program, they are moving towards this outcome based education. It's a student centric system. Then who will benefit it once their program is accredited? Number one, parents and students, and placement. Regarding placement, why? Because the MNCs will visit our institution to recruit the graduates and availing funds through the external agencies like AICTE, UGC and TST. Actually, there are three types of domain of learning outcomes. To apply the concept of learning outcomes, actually there are three types of domains of learning outcomes. The first one is affective, which is related to the feelings, attitudes and individual emotions. And second one is the psychomotor, which is related to the physical activities, nothing but doing skills. And third one is the cognitive, it is the thinking skills. So simply these domains which are related to our brain, cognitive, related to heart, affective, and the hand, psychomotor. And we will focus on the cognitive skills, the thinking skills later. And before discussing on the design implement of the program, first of all we know the terms. Okay, there's vision, mission, PEOs and PEOs. The new faculty, they know what the exact meaning of the PEOs and PEOs and vision mission. That's why we're giving some example. You can see this one. A vision is a future state. It shows the picture of what your organization to achieve the over time. You can see here. So the vision is a long-term goal to achieve the over long time. But how can you achieve your vision? There is nothing but mission. So mission is a present state or the purpose of the organization. Take example. For example, it's some definition of the vision and the mission of the department. If I define this vision to produce a socially responsible and innovative engineers to serve the society and industry, then how can you produce? By providing education through well-designed curriculum, and by creating a learning environment and providing facilities, and by promoting ethical and moral values, and by establishing industry institute interaction. So these are vision missions. Once you define this mission of the department, you will correlate the mission of the department with the institution mission. See here, there is a mapping department mission with the institute mission. For example, you can take this IM2, achieve academic excellence, nothing but providing quality of education. So this statement is strongly correlated. 3. Similarly, you can go IM5 to establish the partnership between institute and industry. So department also making interaction with industry. So this strongly correlated. So the consistency levels of will show strongly correlated, moderately, and slightly correlated. So these the mapping department mission with the institution mission statement. Next sections we will discuss detail, how can you map all those things. So this is completely about institution vision and mission and department vision missions. And another term, PEOs. The name indicates that at program level. If your department offers the UG program and PG program, you have to define the objectives for each programs. And these objectives achieved by our graduates after 3 to 5 years of their graduations. But how do you assess? By conducting surveys, asking the employer and our alumni through the questions, and these questions reflect our objectives. So these are the PEOs and POs. So these are the abilities and capacities of capabilities. Okay, these are the abilities and capabilities of graduates at the time of graduation. Then how do you assess? Through course outcomes, that's one of the parameter, and also conducting exit interviews and exit survey, or we can also call a graduate survey. So these POs. Look at this. So while designing program, by taking the inputs from the stakeholders are nothing but parents, students, alumni, employer, academicians, management. So we'll take the inputs. First, clearly define the mission of the department from the institution mission. Then we define the PEOs from mission of the department. Then define PEOs from the PEOs and taking the consideration of the graduate attributes, these GS given by NBA. You can see this. So the PEOs, to define the PEOs, we have to take the two consideration. One is PEOs, at the same time GS. So there are 12 GS which is defined by NBA. Okay, so our PEOs must satisfy this 12 GS. Then you define this COs. So to design any program, we have to follow top to down approach, whereas for implementing we have to follow bottom up approach. Okay, so COs, then PEOs, then finally you will see that one a long-term goal is achieved or not. So top to down approach and bottom up approach for designing and implementing program. And when do you assess and evaluate? For example, take 2011 admitted batch, we will assess during this 4 years at the time of graduations and after 3 to 5 years of their graduation, the PEOs. And for implementation and to achieve the quality outcomes, and we need some important committees and coordinators. We have DAC at department level. So all the matters related to your program advised and finalized by this DAC, which works under the college advisory board. Okay, and for each program we need the program coordinator, and he will give the guidelines to this program assessment evaluation committee. And under this PA and EC, we have all the module coordinators are the members, and these module coordinators gives the guidelines to the course coordinators, and finally we have a course instructors. Then who is coordinator? What will coordinator? We'll talk about but sometime, and then who is a model coordinator and who is a course coordinator. Actually, a model coordinator is a coordinator for a group of similar courses. For example, in a courses we have the similar courses EDC, EC, PDC and LIC. So all these courses which comes in one module, that is devices and circuits. So we need one module coordinator. If the same title of the course taught by different faculty, then among one senior faculty member is a course coordinator. And finally, a bottom level, we have a course instructor. And to attain or choose these PEOs, and the COs, we need assessment tools. You can see this one. To attain the course outcomes, we need direct and indirect tools. For example, we have quizzes, assignment, internal exam, and course and survey, then end exam. So among this, the course and survey is an indirect tool. And rubrics also very important tool. We develop the rubrics for laboratory course and seminar and project. For example, you can see this. So this example of a rubrics developed for laboratory. to get the performance of the students. Okay. Next, once attain the values of course outcomes, we know this the level of attainment of course outcomes. Then we have to determine the attainment level of program outcomes. PO8, we have the PO8 to K. So these course outcomes is nothing but direct process to measure the program outcomes, PO8 to K. And we need indirect process also, exit survey and exit interviews. These are the indirect process to measure the attainment level of POs. And finally PEOs. So these are the direct process, and POs comes under indirect process to assess and achieve the POs. Then how can you apply this Bloom taxonomy to write COs and attain the COs? We already discussed it, and there are three types of learning outcomes. Now we focus on the cognitive skills, which developed by the Benjamin Bloom. You can see this, the difference, and compare this old and revised Bloom taxonomy. These terms converted as a evaluating, creating, analyzing, and applying, understanding, and remembering. So this revised Bloom taxonomy you can apply in a thinking skill as a thinking skills. So there are 6 levels, lower order to higher order. So we can apply step by step. Then how can you apply? You can see this one. So this an instrument. If we observe clearly, it is an ammeter to measure the current. And by using this ammeter, we can measure the current in a circuit, and I can analyze. So I can measure all the values of the current in entire circuits in different branches at different locations also. And I connected a shunt resistors. Why? Because to extend the range of given ammeter, I am extending the given range of ammeter by just connecting a shunt resistance. So now how can I apply the Bloom taxonomy to these circuits? The first one is remember recall concept. Because just by seeing instrument immediate I recall that it's a measuring instrument. Then I understand that this instrument is used for measuring current. Applied, analyzing and evaluating. Then I will create or build a new model. So these 6 levels are very important to test the thinking skills of the students. So before understanding a concept, we have to remember, and to apply the concept, first to understand that concept, and to evaluate the concept we must analyze it, and to build a new model create by evaluating the process. So all these levels can apply to any course and any topic and any content also. So when applying the Bloom taxonomy, remember the another technique that is called SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time down and time bound. So this is example of a smart technique to write SEOs. And please avoid this type of verbs, because when applying the Bloom taxonomy level, for example, if you write the imagine, so then how do you assess? Then how do you know that their imagination? So that's why generally please avoid these words. You can use some better words. And these are the verbs generally used for remember level, understand level. These are the levels, and these for applying. For example, able to construct, able to demonstrate, and able to reorganize. And these for analyzing, able to compare, able to distinguish, evaluating, able to estimate, and able to justify, and able to compose, and able to transform. And I just by using this Bloom taxonomy, we have one course, circuit theory. We applied the Bloom taxonomy. You can see this one, the entire course wise, not unit wise, we written the remembering and understanding, applying, analyzing, and creating. So once you defined these CEOs as a Bloom taxonomy, you have to write the questions also, the frame the questions, because when the committee comes, definitely they are mainly focusing on these questions also, the defined CEOs and the questions as per Bloom taxonomy. What are the keywords, verbs you can use for what, how, find, define, identify. So all these questions are related to remembering, recurring information. Similarly, we have understanding, okay, and the sample questions for applying. And these for analyzing, and this for evaluating, creating. You have the software, and for example you have multi-sim, okay, so you can apply the concept for evaluating also, and finally you can create. Okay, and I hope thanks for listening, understand this presentation, and thanks for listening. And next sessions we'll focus on this mappings, PEOs with PEOs, and the CEO with the PEOs, and how can attain the level of the CEOs, and the same time and CQA, continuous quality improvement, how the CQA is applicable to the CEOs and the PEOs and PEOs, and to fill the SAR or the guidelines. Okay, so we'll see this next sections.